Time to take a look at what's been grabbing headlines here in France, and we can say good morning to Florence Villemino. Now, it's been a busy week on the political scene. Let's start with the Conservative candidate who we've been headlining on, François Fillon. He's losing support after vowing to stay in the race despite a job scandal, fake job scandal.
He has been facing some major defections from his camp ever since he gave a very defiant speech on Wednesday. He said he won't surrender. But a lot of people do want him to surrender. Let's take a look at the front page of Le Parisien. Calls are growing for his rival, Alain Juppé, the man who he beat in the primary, in the Conservative primary. Well, now people want Juppé to come to the rescue, to take his place. Juppé se prépare. Juppé is getting ready for this scenario. But
analysts say that Fillon is staying in the race because his party has no plan B.
Well, and what people are wondering, well, could Juppé be the plan B or could he be the plan J? That's what Le Parisien is saying today. Now, what's interesting is at first Juppé said he didn't want to step in and replace Fillon because he lost the primary and it's not really his place to come and rescue the party, if you will. But it seems like he's starting to change his tune. According to Le Parisien, the time of false modesty is over. He's told his friends and allies that he's actually ready to come to the rescue if Fillon quits. Now, in its editorial, Le Parisien says Juppé is much more than a plan B. He is the plan hors sec. The plan hors sec is an emergency plan that is put in place when there's a national disaster here in France, a natural disaster. And so that is exactly what Juppé is for Les Républicains, for the Conservatives. It's a question of survival, according to Le Parisien and its editorial. If the center-right wants to avoid what it calls a collective suicide and a major slap in the face in the upcoming presidential election, well, Fillon needs to leave and Alain Juppé needs to step in.
They need to trigger this. Okay, now François Fillon remains defiant. He's organized a big rally in Paris this Sunday, and he's hoping to draw a large crowd.
That's right. But before we get to that, let's take a look at some cartoons in Le Parisien, because people are wondering if it's just a question of time before Alain Juppé steps in. So you can see here, this is Rançon and his cartoon here. You can see Juppé in the top half of this hourglass looking down at Fillon. Fillon is getting covered. Looks like he's about to be buried in sand. How's it going in Sablé? Now, this is a clever cartoon because Sablé is sand, but Sablé-sur-Sarthe is where it used to be Fillon's constituency, so it's a little bit of a play on words. There's another very clever cartoon on the front page of L'Opinion today, which references that big Oscar kerfuffle there was. You can see here François Fillon celebrating his Oscar. The Oscar says the best conservative candidate there, but you can see the guy there was saying, "Excuse me, actually," and you look on that envelope and it says Alain Juppé. So perhaps he didn't actually win that Oscar. L'Opinion saying that Opération Juppé est lancée, so Operation Juppé is on. But as you mentioned, Fillon is defiant and he is planning to hold a major rally, a support rally, a pep rally, I guess you could say, in Paris on Sunday. You can read more about it in La Croix. La Croix says that Fillon is on the offensive despite these defections in his camp. So this pep rally is going to be held at Trocadero. Good photo op right in front of the Eiffel Tower. He's hoping that between 50,000 and 80,000 people are going to attend, so quite a large crowd. You can read more about it in L'Humanité that points out that Fillon is hoping to get the support of a certain crowd, and that is the Manif pour tous. You might remember the Manif pour tous.
We do remember them.
We do remember them. The anti-gay marriage demonstrators. They're very well connected on social media, and they tend to draw a large crowd. So if he can get them to come, the crowd could be quite large.
Okay. Moving on. Now, many papers say it's just a question of time before Alain Juppé takes over.
That's right. Well, we saw those cartoons saw the Parisien and L'Opinion as well. So you can see that on the front page. But papers are also focusing on Emmanuel Macron. Of course, he unveiled his plan yesterday after waiting a while to do so. It's about time. Libération isn't so impressed. Now, Macron says he's neither on the left nor on the right. On the contrary, two-faced Macron there looking in all directions. It's a balancing act, according to Libération. A lot of new ideas, but some recycled ideas as well. Le Figaro agrees and sums up his program this way. If we take a look at an article, essentially, he wants to seduce everyone and upset no one.
But some papers are already upset, among them the communist paper L'Humanité.
L'Humanité interviews a political scientist today, Gaël Brustier, who sums up Emmanuel Macron's program this way. It's a populist version, it's a populist program, and the version is the CAC 40. So the CAC 40 is France's benchmark stock market index. So essentially, L'Humanité, communist paper, is very upset about the very capitalist nature of Emmanuel Macron's program. It says that under the varnish of modernity, it's actually a spare tire for capitalism.
Now, Le Parisien, meanwhile, wonders whether he can implement his program if he actually wins the presidency.
What's interesting to note is that in France, the president has lots of power. And in fact, you can find out more in French Connections this week because I did a special program on the powers of the French president. But for this power to work, the president needs a majority in parliament. That way he can get things done, get his laws done. But a lot of papers, including Le Parisien here, are wondering, look, Macron, he has a lot of support across the political spectrum, from the left and from the right, but could that actually transform into a working majority in parliament? Because he's drawing support from people who aren't used to working together. So could they work together in parliament to actually get things done? Well, you can see that question mark in the article. It's unclear whether or not this wave of success that he's surfing on right now could actually transform into a working majority in parliament.
And whether he can keep it on going on until
That's
May.
That's right. The clock's
ticking. Thank you very much. Florence Villemineau with the press review there. We're going to take a quick break. There's more news coming up. Stay with us. This is France 24. I can say